Good evening and welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew, and today's date is Monday, August 13th, 2012, and here's a look at what we have coming up.
Tonight, the stability of U.S. banks and the safety of individual deposit accounts in grave danger, as former money manager Ann Barnhart says the marketplace is destroyed and it's time to get your money out. Meanwhile, something strange appears to be happening all over the globe as government and big banks are acting as if they are anticipating an imminent financial collapse. Plus, fears that federal authorities are preparing for mass civil unrest have increased after it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy 750 million rounds of ammo. This in addition to the 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets already purchased earlier this year. Then, this is what your tap water looks like. Natural Society's Anthony Gucciardi joins us to reveal the true condition of our polluted water supply. But wait, there is a remedy. That's coming up next on the Infowars Nightly News.
All right, we got quite a show for you. Let's kick it off with the D.H.S. Now they're buying, looks like over 1 billion bullets. Here's the headline from Infowars. D.H.S. to purchase another 750 million rounds of ammo. Second ammunition buy this year fuels massive civil unrest. Fears that federal authorities are preparing for mass civil unrest have increased after it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy 750 rounds of ammo in addition to the 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets already purchased earlier this year. Wow, isn't that great? With the total ammo purchase, there's a PDF file we're going to show you in a second. It's got the total ammo purchase exceeding 750 million rounds. That is 4 bullets for every man, woman, and child in the United States. And there it is. There's our 4 bullets. And they're hollow point, of course, because, you know, you use hollow point when you really care to send that message to that special someone out there. This is really disturbing. You know, there's speculation of 2 different reasons of why they're buying this. One, they're either going to use it on us, or 2, they're buying it up so we can't use it to protect ourselves in the event of a major collapse. Because nobody's going to go out there and go to war with D.H.S. But we do have the right to defend ourselves, and we do have the right to defend ourselves from an unjust government. And that 750 million rounds points to there's the PDF we have over on the screen right there. You could see, and that's linked in the article. You could see all the different versions of that. Before that, on March 28th, Business Insider reported the Department of Homeland Security is buying 450 million new bullets. And these are, let's see, what does it say here? The 223s caliber and exactly the same round used by NATO forces, the 5.56 by 45 millimeter. So there's that article there. And the USDA is buying ammo. Everybody's making million-round purchases of ammo. It's just not passe to get 100,000 bullets for target practice. Now we got to buy millions of rounds. And why is that going to happen? Well, it leads us to our next article. Are the government and big banks quietly preparing for an imminent financial collapse? Okay. And this is well, it's sourced from Reuters. Something really strange appears to be happening all over the globe. Governments and big banks are acting as if they are anticipating an imminent financial collapse, and that's from That's from the Economic Collapse blog. There it is right there. And they source Reuters. U.S. regulators directed 5 of the country's biggest banks, including Bank of America Corp., Goldman Sachs, to develop plans to stave off of collapse if they fear serious problems, emphasizing the banks could not count on government help like they did last time. The 2-year-old program, which has largely been secret until now, is in addition to the living wills, which we reported a few weeks ago, the banks have crafted to help regulators dismantle them if they actually do fail. It shows how regulators are working to ensure that banks have plans for the worst-case scenarios and can act rationally in times of distress. Does this seem odd to anyone else that only the big banks get a warning? That seems odd to me. And why keep it secret from the American public? This is stuff that has to be fished out of little white papers and put on the web, and it's not mainstream media reporting on it. This is Economic Collapse blog, and it goes on to cite further instances. And there's an interesting little quiet please, which we have loose talk can cost lives, because that's what's going to happen. People are starting to talk. We've got IRS whistleblowers that we've had on the show. We're talking about how the whole system is basically fraudulent and it's set up to fail. But the big guys up top are not going to they're not going to have any problems. They've already built their redoubts. They've got their food. It's just going to be bad. So the SHTF plan has, and we posted this today, warning, get your money out. All legal bank deposit protections are officially gone. And this goes back to 2011 when there it is, former money manager Ann Barnhart. She ceased operating her brokerage firm and returned funds to her customers, citing systemic problems within the entire financial industry. And she issued a new warning about the stability of banks and the safety of individual deposits. Well, what happened last year in 2011? Remember, that's when Gerald Celente was getting on, talking about Corzine stealing his money. And, well, that's what happened. This goes back even before Celente. This comes from a recent appeals court ruling surrounding customer funds lost during a 2007 collapse of Chicago futures broker Sentinel. Indicates that individuals who lose deposited funds because a financial institution improperly manages that money, even if those funds are supposed to be segregated, which means they're not supposed to be invested by the company, from other operations of the firm, they're simply left with no recourse if the firm goes belly up. And that was according to the court. Here it is. A miscalculation of customer funds is not on its own sufficient to rule as a matter of law that Sentinel acted without intent to hinder, delay, or defraud its customers. So basically what they're doing is legalizing the theft of your money, and even if it's in a segregated account, they get to use it however they want. They get to squander it. They get to bet with it. And if they lose it, it ain't no problem. And that's why Ann Barnhart left the industry, putting out that call to her investors and giving them their money back. And Mark Slavo ends with this. Guys, it's over. I know many of you are still cowering in normalcy bias, unable to deal with reality, unable to face the world as it is, but you've got to snap out of it. The marketplace is destroyed. You cannot be in these markets. All legal protections are now officially gone. And that's it. I mean, that's why D.H.S. is buying all these bullets, because when people realize that the system is fake and that it has collapsed, there's going to be a lot of riots. There's going to be, that's why they're buying all that riot gear. The Army is even buying it now. They're getting ready for everything to implode, for people to be out in the streets demanding answers. And when the riots start, people are going to be asking for the Army. We've already seen signs in Detroit of people spray painting on the walls, where's the 20,000 troops in Detroit? People are going to be calling for this stuff because it's going to be so bad. And, you know, what's another symptom of this? Well, our government's filled with, you know, these giant pedophile rings. So let's move on to Penn State and Petty Valley. This is from the Mail Online. Jerry Sandusky and major Penn State donor abused 2 boys aboard a private plane, claims a new witness. And there it are. A man has come forward alleging he saw Jerry Sandusky and a prominent Penn State official sexually abusing 2 boys together aboard a private plane. The FBI is taking the accusation seriously, and they're going to do an investigation. So what does all this mean? Well, several things. One, they had a quick trial in order to cover up any of this stuff because it was reported a long time ago. In fact, back in November of 2011, rumor, Sandusky pimped out young boys to rich donors. There it is, from CBS Chicago. And that was based on a tip that Mark Madden, a sports writer for 105.9 in Pittsburgh, was talking about on a couple radio shows that he had him talk. You know, he was talking about this stuff. He says it's going to get worse before it gets better. The one thing I hear being investigated right now, and I hasten to add, this is only a rumor, but I know of at least 2 prominent columnists who are investigating the story, and that is the Second Mile. And there's no nice way to say this. Pimped out young boys to wealthy donors. There's really no nice way to say that. They were bringing in wealthy donors and pimping them out. And this was all, you know, when Sandusky left back in the 90s, he was 55 years old. This is a guy who was pretty much in his coaching prime. So Madden, back around that same time, was Sandusky, a State Secret. I think it's called Madden Rewind, Sandusky, a State Secret. And as the Beaver County Times columnist reported, that the Jerry Sandusky thing, it just doesn't add up, that now, you know, they've had all these allegations. He suddenly disappears. He doesn't go coach anywhere else. Well, he was talking about that it was a cover-up back then. Well, and then it comes out that there's this rumor of him pimping out young boys to rich donors, none of which was in the Washington Post report that talked about the Louis Freeh investigation, where they bring in Louis Freeh. He says, well, basically, it was to a few people in Penn State knew about it. It was Sandusky just acting alone. Let's move on. So Paterno is fired. He dies. Graham Spanier is fired from Penn State as the president. But what does he get? Well, he gets a major, cushy new job with an unknown government agency. In fact, his job is so secret, we can't even tell you who he's working with. So there's the article there. Graham Spanier's gig as a federal worker is a big mystery. Graham Spanier might have been ousted from his post at the helm of Penn State over the sex abuse scandal that engulfed the university, but it now seems he's found a backup employer, the American taxpayer. And his lawyer confirms to The Loop that Spanier is working as a part-time consulting basis for a top-secret agency on national security issues, but the gig is so hush-hush, he couldn't even tell his attorneys the name of the agency. In April, months after his ouster as president, but before the release of the internal report, which is the Freeh report, he told Patriot News of Central Pennsylvania he's working on a special project for the U.S. government relating to national security. Could it be how to cover up pedophilia rings at your university? Or large institutions even? Who knows? That seems like what it could be for me, because he was fired for that very same reason. So moving on to other matters. And the article, YouTube threatens to terminate account over criticism of copyright policy. That's from Paul Joseph Watson. That came out today, and it basically kind of explains this saga that we've been going through with YouTube for a while. I don't know if you've seen the movie Endgame. It's a great film. There's a lot of filmmakers that we interview now that claim this is the thing that really woke them up, and that they got a lot of their information from, especially in the eugenics angle, because it goes deep into eugenics, in addition to NAFTA and the international superhighway going through the United States, but a big section on eugenics and what's going on. And I think they go to Bilderberg in Canada up in it. But so what happened is there's a company called, it's right here, Biotronic, or it's a musical group, Biotronic. They took some excerpts of Endgame and put into one of their songs. And then there's robots out there that go out and find this, you know, that sample. And if they find it, they say, oh, wait, you don't own this copyright. So here it is. In the case, because Alex Jones' voice was used on the track recorded by the musical group Biotronic, YouTube copyright bots erroneously identified Jones's voice in his own documentary Endgame as being owned by Biotronic. The result was a penalty being placed against the original user's account, with an additional threat of termination if any further penalties were issued. So what this is these bots go out there, they find this stuff, they immediately start flagging things. And if you don't have all your ducks in a row and are ready to fight it, or say you're out on vacation and then you get another couple things, boom, your account could be gone. And that was on Change to Channel's account. He had Endgame posted up there for free for people to watch, because we want to get the information out there. But if you do want to support us, pick up a copy of Endgame and see what all the fuss is about. And so what happens is Alex has a video explaining that. He put out a video explaining how YouTube bots are going out there censoring people. Well, that was taken down by YouTube. And they say they were claiming the clip was commercially deceptive. And there's the screens there. And those are also in the article. And you could read about all that in the article. Robot Hijacks Endgame Film was the video that was taken down. So now we're going to go to Alex, who's going to explain everything. It's about 10 minutes long, but it'll give you a lot of insight into how these systems kind of behind the scenes work, which is a reason why, let me stress this, this is a reason why you need to hard copy stuff. Do you notice how computers don't have disk drives anymore? Do you notice how they talk about cloud computing and how it's great? No, it's not great. You know what cloud computing is? Cloud computing is the memory hole, because if they don't want something out there, boom, it's gone. That's why everybody needs hard copies. You need to print out articles on paper and save them, because you go back, these articles are gone. That's why you need DVDs. Get one DVD, make a bunch of copies, give it out to people, or download these videos and put them on a DVD. Have them where even if your computer is destroyed, you can get another computer and you could put these on that system, because they're trying to take away those means for us. That's why in these Kindle books, they could just erase the books. They just take them away, one of which, ironically, was 1984 that they erased out of Kindles because of a copyright claim. Well, a copyright claim comes through, and they just, boom, they erase it all. So this is a real reason why you need to have your stuff on hard copy. Let's go to that video now.
Well, this may be the end of our main YouTube channel that has 226 million views and growing exponentially. But we'll still have PrisonPlanet.tv and the syndicated radio show, and you'll still be able to download our interviews and news, and for everybody from, Willie Nelson to you name it, to Congressman Ron Paul that comes on the show. But we're not deemed worthy enough to even have a partner channel with YouTube. Because I have cover stories in Rolling Stone and New York Magazine and Nightline. We're just not worthy. And I've been operating this channel now for about 4 years, and they've tried to shut it down hundreds of different ways. Shot a drone over the highway in Austin this week. Just a lot of interesting stuff on there, but they have put a strike against the channel, and under this new system, it won't be there long. And, of course, with the new cybersecurity Internet ID that Obama says he's going to sign an executive order for, all they have to do is give you 3 strikes, and then you're basically banned from the web itself. And it tracks you and taxes you. It's all being announced. Just look it up. What am I getting at here? Well, in the last year, our channel has been plagued and almost shut down because, well, you remember Joe Rogan, my friend of many years. All the interviews I'd done with him, a group called Mint Pixel had put in a software system so that his performances couldn't be copied, which I think is reasonable. But the computers don't work that way. And they wouldn't use Mint Pixel's program that's specific to the actual words or performance. But to the voice generally, YouTube makes them use that tool. So I had Mint Pixel contact YouTube, go through a bunch of hoops to get our channel back in good standing. They'd taken away our long uploads and things. Because what they do is they put their ads over it, but we've had it before where just because somebody puts your ads over, and if you don't challenge it, later it kicks in and removes the channel. You've seen that happen before. But not Mint Pixel's fault. They had to stop monetizing Joe Rogan because they'd already had problems with this. In fact, they'd already asked YouTube months before to stop doing it, and YouTube just didn't quit. So what has YouTube now done? You know about Endgame Blueprint for Global Enslavement. It's not even on my channel, a particular version. It's on Change the Channel. It's got hundreds of millions of views. Our version had a couple million views on that channel, and he called us. The fellow that runs the channel, who we know well, Mr. Webb, called us a few weeks ago, and he said, yeah, I'm in bad standing. They've put this on me. They're putting ads over it. They're saying they own your voice, this record company. So we put out a video called Robot Hijacks Endgame. Now, we didn't even say that company was doing it on purpose. We said we're sure it's YouTube's robot because somebody at this record company sampled my voice in one of the songs. Fine. My stuff's Creative Commons. Well, now they've given us a community guidelines, spam, scams, and commercially deceptive. Really, commercially deceptive. A film I made that's sold in stores that I'm advertising for free on someone else's channel, making zero from. And guess what? They've removed their ads from it and removed the copyright claim. If you go to Endgame, you'll notice that before it had all the ads right here. You can go watch my video on it from yesterday that they've banned, but there's copies of it. I'm going to show you one of them in a minute, and see that all that's gone. And I saw the official record company there saying, hey, Alex is right. We did not mean for this to happen. The YouTube robot isn't operating properly. So it is a robot. I'm blaming the robot. This is a big deal that they can just say your voice is owned. And it's happening to more and more people. I talked to the Mint Pixel folks. They said it's a big issue. They can't even monetize YouTube because of this. I'm all for people's music and stuff or specific comedy performances to be protected. This isn't. You think I liked having to get Joe Rogan to make phone calls? You think I like bugging him? So it goes on here. They're saying sue the bastards. It's got people saying the Bionic. I bet Bionic flagged this video on the AJ channel. Anyone can flag any video. Well, Bionic is the name of a particular label, but then it's another company over it. But they've gotten it fixed. They got it removed. But that doesn't matter. Now, they may completely take the channel down now just because we showed you what's happening. We're not supposed to do that, I guess. That YouTube is saying we're frauds, we're scammers, and they say they agree with this. Well, you can still go here and watch the video that's been restricted or banned, blocked, because somebody made a copy of it for now, and you can see my evil. Alex Jones here pointing out. And then you can notice time that we're being censored by computers, by robots. This is all. See, all I did was point out that a robot was falsely saying that a company owned my voice because somebody sampled it, and then a 3-hour or almost 3-hour film gets restricted. And in here, I go and I show you where the record company had their thing, which again used to we'd leave this kind of stuff up, but we found it's Bionic Projects, the artist, and then the record company. It's all it was listed right there, and it's pretty good techno music. I mean, pretty darn good actually. Google, Amazon, eMusic, a bunch of other links right there. Let me show you. Again, this is saved here, even though they tried to erase it. Okay? So the point is that the record company got it fixed. I have been proven correct. And in response, they have now taken the video down and put an official strike on us. You get one more and then another, that's it. And they're constantly filing fake ones. We're constantly having to deal with this. So, folks, all the videos, here's the bottom line. All the videos, all the incredible things like Food, the Ultimate Secret, and all the analysis we've done on GMO and the poisons and the wars and Al-Qaeda working for the Pentagon and all the incredible interviews. Whatever is most important to you, you better go into our thousands of videos on the Alex Jones channel and get those out of there. And at least save them before they burn our library to the ground. And they've shut the channel down before. I've had to file, papers and stuff where I swear in court and all this stuff. I mean, believe me. But this is an outreach where we're hitting the general public. Folks, Alex Jones here. I was driving. I mean, sure, I'm on XM 166 and over 115 radio stations, but that's a great crowd, but they're mainly older and conservative. I want to reach everybody. Look at this, Max Kaiser. We're in a financial holocaust, getting into the big banks, preparing for collapse. I mean, this is just so big. There's our article, Robot Hijacks in-game video flagged. All that is just showing that it's happened. They'll probably shut us down for that. How dare us point out that we were right. We didn't engage in any fraud. I mean, you don't know my voice, and YouTube is mad. This is the final bottom line. YouTube is mad because they're using ham-fisted robot tools that will go in and block stuff that is not the copyright they're claiming. And somebody had to go in and fix this weekend. And so they just said, well, we'll just put a strike on Alex Jones. And again, people say, well, just leave YouTube if you don't like them. They're over half the video views in the world. They advertise as a Creative Commons. It's YouTube. We bring the value. I'm an award-winning filmmaker. I put my films on here for free. Like Fall of the Republic, Obama Deception, all of them. Seen tens of millions of times apiece. I'm bringing the value, okay? I don't want to hear it. I don't even monetize my channel with the little ads on the bottom. It's disgusting. So you better see it all before they knock it out. Brothers in Arms, drone shot down over Texas, Bob Chapman, all his interviews, all these incredible things. That they want to ban them right now. And I guess I'm not supposed to say contact YouTube to write this, because I guess that's a scam, standing up against the fraud of saying that I don't own my voice. So they have restored that video to not having a claim against it, which I've seen them kick into full strikes before while we're trying to get it removed, but given us a strike. Please help us. You can always listen to the audio at Infowars.com and the podcast for now and stuff. And I guess that's just the answer, is that we do need to start uploading our stuff to other channels. People do, Daily Motion and a bunch of others, Vimeo. But they're starting to censor those too. I mean, they don't want you seeing this information. All right, Alex Jones signing off for Infowars.com and PrisonPlanet.com and PrisonPlanet.tv. There's a 15-day free trial at PrisonPlanet.tv. You know, we have to charge there a little bit to be able to pay for the bandwidth. We try to give it to you free right here. But PrisonPlanet.tv.
So like I said, get your hard copies ready because we're going to need them. That's why we're printing out a newspaper. It's coming out next month. You know, if you can't hit yourself in the head with it, it's not a hard copy, okay? Get it on disc, get it in paper, and get ready because when it comes down, you're going to wish you had this stuff. Let's move on to the Paul Ryan distraction. And this is out of the New American. Veep Paul Ryan is no conservative. And we know he's not. He's just one of these guys who plays along with the rules. He was a neocon. He loves wars. You know, it's funny. Before we go to this quote here, in his little budget that he made, everybody's like, "Oh, the Ryan budget, so great." You know what he didn't lower was military spending. He increased military spending. And it wasn't defense spending. It's going into more countries and ruining more people's lives spending and bringing us more into debt spending. That's what kind of spending it was. It has nothing to do with saving democracy or protecting us from Al-Qaeda or any of that bull. Okay, that's what it's about. So anyway, let's go back to the article. Ryan voted for all the big-ticket budget-busting items of the administration of George W. Bush, including No Child Left Behind Act, the Prescription Drug Benefit Act, known as Medicare Part D, often described as the large expansion of the welfare state since Lyndon Johnson's Great Society. He voted to create the Department of Homeland Security, including the TSA, that has harassed air travelers, making aircraft safe from shoes, belt buckles, and grandma's knitting needles, in addition to colostomy bags and, well, breasts. He voted for the Patriot Act, giving government enhanced powers for warrantless snooping of Americans' lives, as well as foreign nationals. He voted for the Troubled Asset Relief Program, or TARP as we know it, and for the too-big-to-fail financial institutions, and inspired the Tea Party rebellion against big government and crony capitalism. He also backed the GM takeover, as what we now know as Government Motors. So I found this great picture on Adam versus the Man's site, and let's go to that right now. There it is. Paul Ryan voted for TARP, the auto bailouts, Medicare expansion, housing subsidies, employment extension, and national ID, the making the Patriot Act permanent, surveillance without a warrant, no child left behind, keeping the troops in Iraq indefinitely, and the 2008 and 2009 stimulus. Sounds perfect for Romney. So, yeah, actually, I think it's a great pick for Romney. But while you Tea Partiers are out there going, oh, boy, Paul Ryan, look at his real voting record. Look at his actions. Don't listen to his words because he's another big government crony, just like Romney, and they're not going to be a solution. And so don't vote for Obama. Don't vote for Romney. I'm not voting for either one of them. If I vote for anybody, it'd be for Gary Johnson. But I'm not even planning on voting because it's not going to make a difference. They've already decided which World Wrestling Federation contestant they're going to put into the system because the owner owns both teams, just like it does in the World Wrestling Federation. Which brings us to our quote of the day. Another big government guy, Franklin Delano Roosevelt, who said, in politics, nothing happens by accident. If it happens, you can bet it was planned that way. 32nd President of the United States and first honorary Grand Master of the Order of Demolay. So there's your quote of the day. We'll be right back with a few more articles and our interview with Anthony Gucciardi of Natural Society. Stay tuned.
I really enjoy it when the globalists try to poison us, and, well, we resist them via a free market system. Hello, my fellow Info Warriors. Alex Jones here, introducing you to the ProPure family of gravity-fed filters. Now, you know that the globalists are filling our water with radioactive isotopes, fluoride, lead, mercury, arsenic. And one of the few systems that can efficiently and economically remove or reduce down to non-detectable levels these poisons are gravity-fed filters. And ProPure is the top of the line. Their filters are impregnated with silver, a natural antibiotic, On top of that, they're bigger, so they filter faster. You don't have to prime these the first time you use them. It's amazing. Go to Infowars.com and click on the shopping cart link to see the entire family of these babies. Now, the fluoride they add to our water is so tiny that most filters can't cut it out. But ProPure has their system that will, again, reduce it to non-detectable levels, almost get all of it out of there. That's also available. And if you look at the different systems they offer, the ProPure Big Brush Finish is on a stand, so it's easier on a table or at your restaurant or wherever you have it to go up with a glass or a mug and fill it up. Then there's this big baby right here, the ProPure King large version. Got a lot of different options that come with it. Also, they have the ProPure Big, probably one of the best values out there. And of course, it's burnished stainless steel. And then what I use on my RV, something that's great for your hunting cabin or the back porch, is the ProPure Traveler. Small and portable, but packs a huge punch, cleans out all that garbage. They also have a glass sight spigot, so you don't have to take the top off and look in the bottom area to see how much water. You can see how fast it's filtering with this optional system. The globalists obviously are hitting us through our water. It's time to take control of our lives. It's time to not give our children and families these poisons, and these systems cut it down to non-detectable levels across the board. ProPure is the name. I only promote what I believe in. And I use ProPure in my home and my office. And I recommend that you check out the information on ProPure at Infowars.com. We already have the lowest price at Infowars.com on the ProPure gravity filter system. But when you add in the 10% off when InfoWarriors use the product code WATER at Infowars.com, nobody can top it. So again, it's a win-win-win. Stop drinking the poison water. Checkmate the globalists when it comes to your health, and support Infowars.com and the work we're doing here. You know, many revolutionaries rob banks and things and kidnap people for funds. We promote in the free market the products we use that are about preparedness. That's how we fund this revolution against the New World Order in our move to restore our constitutional republic and a spirit of 1776 worldwide. Check it out at Infowars.com. ProPure, top of the line, #1, most powerful and effective and economical gravity-fed water system in the world. ProPure, available, discounted at Infowars.com. Don't forget product code WATER to save 10%. It's the latest generation, years in development. ProPure is the name. I really enjoy it when the globalists try to poison. Alex Jones here with a message to fellow freedom lovers. The prognosis for the entire planetary economic system runs from bad to worse. The globalist model is to shut down societies and starve patriots out until they acquiesce to the global takeover. That's why we've assembled the most vital and important preparedness items at InfoWarsShop.com. These are items that I did research on, that I personally use. We've got the Life Straw, so you can turn fetid water into safe water anywhere you go. The K-Tor hand crank generator to charge up key equipment during power outages or out in the field. Strategic Relocation, 3rd edition by Joel Skousen. When Disaster Strikes by Matthew Stein. ThyroSafe, used by Homeland Security to protect yourself during any radiological event. Hand crank shortwave AM/FM radios. Everything that we've researched and found to be the best is available at InfoWarsShop.com, and your purchase makes our InfoWar possible. We're getting prepared. Are you? InfoWarsShop.com.
Welcome back to Infowars Nightly News, the most hard-hitting show on the internet right now, telling you like it is. I'm your host, Rob Dew. Let's move on. We got a couple more stories. U.S. super soldiers of the future will be genetically modified transhumans capable of superhuman feats. Wow. Tomorrow's soldiers could be able to run at Olympic speeds and will be able to go for days without food or sleep if new research into gene manipulation is successful. According to the U.S. Army, plans for the future soldiers will be able to carry huge weights, live off their fats stored for extended periods, and even regrow limbs blown apart by bombs. The plans were revealed by novelist Simon Conway, who was granted behind-the-scenes access into the Pentagon's high-tech Defense Advanced Research Projects Agency. You know what that stands for? DARPA. And DARPA means not good for the rest of us. Most gene manipulations techniques involve placing genetically modified DNA inside a virus and injecting it into the human body. The virus then enters human cells and modifies the DNA and attaches itself to the human DNA inside those cells. When you stop and think about it, the implications are definitely staggering. So you're going to have these super soldiers walking around who definitely are going to feel superior to the rest of us. And what happens when they do feel superior to the rest of us? Are they going to take over? Well, no, they've also got giant robots that are going to be ready to kill whoever stands in their way, including these superhumans. So they will stand in line. These guys will be basically kind of like a really kick-butt Delta Force. You know, these guys are going to be superhuman. They'll be able to jump. You know, you've seen the G.I. Joe movie where the guy was in the super suit and able to fly across buildings and stuff. It's going to be like that, but they won't be in super suits. They'll just be in regular fatigues. Surely to be scary. We're going to talk a little bit about some transhumanism stuff with Anthony Gucciardi coming up. Next, I want to go to a video that Alex Jones and Aaron Dykes shot, and this has to do with longevity and the transformation that Aaron Dykes made going into a fairly large individual into a slim, trim guy that you see, you know, lately on the nightly news. He's not here this week. He's actually off on a much well-deserved vacation. But I've known Aaron since early 2009, and he was a big guy. And it wasn't that he was out of shape. He walked, he ate right, he was trying to do these things. But until he started taking the mineral supplements, he didn't start seeing the changes. So here's that video, and when we come back, I'm going to show you some really gross things that are in your water. So stay tuned. Here's that video.
Alex Jones here with a message that could revolutionize health in this country. If we want to defeat the globalists, we have to understand they're using medical tyranny against us. But to get us into that globalist-controlled system, they want to make us unhealthy. The globalists spike our water with sodium fluoride, and they admit it causes massive increases in bone cancer, brain damage, and reduced IQs. The GMO crops have all been directly linked to reduced fertility, deformities in mammals across the board. The globalists in the school lunch programs feed children absolute garbage. Fast food is full of chemical additives. Things like silicone are all under attack because when we're operating from a healthy position of good food, natural food, clean water, and the nutrients and trace elements we need, our minds will be on fire. The powerful, creative human destiny will be unleashed. Now, I want to tell you a very important story. Going back about a year and a half ago, I began to learn from friends like Ted Anderson about the incredible health effects of longevity products. And I started promoting him some because I'd seen his weight loss, his health, all the things that had happened for him. And by the way, things like Beyond Tangy Tangerine and Pollen Burst Plus are not even advertised for weight loss. It's just that when you take it, you are getting the minerals and vitamins you need from an original plant form, and so you're full. Because the main crops that are grown on these debilitated, played-out soils are not giving you the minerals and vitamins you need. So you eat and you eat and you eat and get raw calories that pack on weight and that burn out your different glands and cause things like diabetes. But when you finally start getting the minerals and vitamins and trace elements you need, it is incredible. Now, I've only stuck my toe in the water and lost a little over 40 pounds, and I'm still big. Aaron Dykes, who you know has been working here for 6 years at Infowars.com, lost 92 pounds. We're going to show you some before and afters. He began to hear the guest on my show a year and a half ago. He began to do his own research, and he implemented the information that Longevity and InfoWarsTeam.com is promoting and had dramatic results. And that's why I'm telling our listeners and viewers, you need to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and try just the essential fatty acids, the Beyond Tangy Tangerine, and the Pollen Burst Plus. And I believe you'll be blown away by the dramatic results that I've had and Aaron's had. Aaron, break down what happened, your story.
I've been overweight in my life for far too long. Years ago, I lost a lot of weight, more than 50 pounds, but it came right back. I wasn't able to keep it off. More recently, I've worked really hard with diet and exercise to try to lose weight, but I just didn't get the results. It just didn't happen, and I wasn't able to stay motivated long enough to reach my goals. Then I saw what you were doing with InfowarsTeam.com and the great products, Tangy Tangerine, kind of the base one to start with. I wasn't even trying to lose weight, but I got it because I wanted to feel better energy. I wanted that nutrition. Didn't even understand how that could kickstart my own weight loss goals, but the products did that for me. I found myself suddenly losing weight, more energetic, wanting to exercise, wanting to eat the right foods.
And they don't even advertise it as weight loss.
They don't, but it became...
But pharmacist Ben Fuchs explains that's what happens if you're overweight, because you're no longer hungry because you're getting what you need.
It was a perfect storm because it was giving my body the nutrients it needs. It gave my body the things it needs to seek out first, which made me not have to crave after other things that I don't need, that don't even provide nutrition.
And what's crazy is this is not advertised as weight loss. The company never even promoted it. We just discovered it's the ultimate weight loss tool. Not only is it incredible that the InfowarsTeam.com products were hidden in plain view, but that there's no teleprompters here. You know, Aaron, you wanted to endorse these products because everybody on air has seen the amazing transformation. They've seen me lose quite a bit of weight, but I haven't totally committed to it like you have. And we're here just telling people the effects that it's had for us. And by the way, just a week and a half ago, I said, you know what? I want to lose the next 40 pounds because doctors have told me I need to lose 80 pounds. I have a hernia. It's not a hiatal hernia. It's in my belly button. And they told me, they said, you need to lose about 80 pounds. You'll have to have surgery. And I've lost 40. I need to go the rest of the way. So a week and a half ago, I said, you know what? I'm not used to just taking pills all day, taking vitamins all day, drinking drinks all day. Yeah, I do one Tangy Tangerine, one pollen burst a day, a couple of essential fatty acids. Not now. I'm doing the whole regimen, and I've lost 7 pounds in a week and a half. I'd lost 42. I quit doing it because I've never been in the habit of doing this, gained a few pounds back, and now raced 7 pounds in a week and a half. We're going to see what happens here with Alex Jones, folks, because I'm fully committing. I'm taking it all. I'm doing it. Now, breaking this down, it's not just the weight loss. It's also energy. It's so many other things. Aaron?
It's like this, Alex. Our world's become centralized. The people who have taken over the food supply have tried to give us fillers so they can go for, you know, the greatest number of people being fed these junk foods and everything else. When you take this nutrition, you're giving your body the little codes, the little fats, the little signals it needs. And when the body gets that, it responds to it right away. That's why it works. It's really just feeding it in the formula you need. So then you're not seeking out foods you don't really need, and it makes things like emotional eating a lot less likely as well. And I found pizza cravings and things like that went away when I took the essential fats. When I had the Tangy Tangerine, you have that base nutrition, so you're not always looking for nutrition in foods where you're really not going to find it anyway in many cases. I think organic foods and stuff like that's really important as well, but this was a total transformation when I was already eating organic foods, already trying to work out and already trying to change my life, but this really let it happen.
When people actually try this, they are blown away. When they find out that when you start taking their proprietary formulation of essential fatty acids that blows the competition away, when you start taking Beyond Tangy Tangerine and Pollen Burst Plus and the other key longevity products, it is incredible. But you've got to continue taking it. But the body is so starved for nutrition by design, by the globalist. I mean, they've engineered this so that we become these self-propelled stomachs always seeking food because we're looking for the vitamins, the minerals, the trace elements. This has the mighty 90 in it. The human body needs 90 vitamins, minerals, and trace elements to work in fusion together. And the system knows this. So I challenge you, check out the incredible products at InfowarsTeam.com. Use them. And if you don't see incredible effects, I will be shocked, because everyone I talk to who has used these is sold on them. You've seen the effects on Alex Jones. You've seen the effects on Aaron Dykes. The system knows about high nutrient diets. They've done studies where mice and other rodents can live twice as long, or even longer in some cases, when they're given super high nutrient diets. but it is not available in most of the foods out there.
We've actually been lied to for decades in our lives, maybe our whole lifetimes for a lot of people, because we're told to eat a certain way. We're convinced by television and other advertisements of how to live our life. It's all wrong. And when you just read about the nutrition, you realize how powerful it is. You realize this is what we're meant to take. That's the stuff you find in Tangy Tangerine and longevity products. And it was so easy. That's the most incredible part. It was so easy to lose weight and regain health for myself, barely without trying, just from taking the products.
We're here promoting what we believe in, what we've seen great results with, to you. I want to challenge our radio listeners to go to InfoWarsTeam.com and watch this video so you can see for yourselves the incredible results Aaron and others have achieved with longevity products that are discounted at wholesale prices at InfoWarsTeam.com. Again, sign up as a distributor and get wholesale pricing discounts at InfoWarsTeam.com. The revolution against tyranny starts individually with our bodies. There is a global awakening happening. The sleeping giant that is humanity is awakening, and a big part of that fight starts at InfoWarsTeam.com.
So I hope you learned a little bit from that. Hopefully it gives you some inspiration out there to make those changes that you need to make in your life. And I tell you what, I'm on the longevity program. I dropped 25 pounds in about a month, and I've kept it off. I used to be about 225, 230. I'm now down to 203. I've been down to 198 was my lowest. And I wasn't an overweight person, but I was definitely getting to be unhealthy. I do drink an occasional beer every now and then. So by taking those mineral supplements, you know, I'm able to not eat as much. Therefore, I save money on my food bill. I only eat like one big meal a day. And the rest of the time, it's just mineral supplements. And I don't get hungry. So take that for what you will. Let's move on. You ever want to know what's in your tap water? Especially after it sits around for a while? Well, Anthony Gucciardi of Natural Society made a short 45 or 48-second video called "This is what your tap water looks like." In the video above, I show you the overflow tray of my 12-stage water filtration device that collects the excess amount of gunk that the filters discharge. The extra amount is the buildup amount from 12 different stages of water filtration, and it's disturbingly putrid. And cheap bitter filters don't grab that much from the water, or Brita-like filters that you're drinking. It virtually allows 100% of the fluoride and other heavy metals to pass right through, which is why you should definitely get into filtering your water. Let's go to that video, and then we're going to talk to Anthony.
Hi, this is Anthony Gucciardi, and it's very rare that you actually get to see what tap water looks like. In this instance, I'm showing you the contamination of the tap water and the after effects. What you're seeing right now is the overflow tray from my personal water filtration device. It's a 12-stage system, and the gunk in there is basically contamination, heavy metals, pesticides, chemicals, drug residue, urine, fecal matter, dirt, dust, the works in there. And very often you'll hear about how tap water is so contaminated, but you'll never really see it in this light here. So I just wanted to show you this to give you an understanding of what you're actually putting into your body when you're drinking unfiltered tap water.
And with more on the disgusting filth that was trapped at the bottom of the overflow tray, we go to Anthony Gucciardi of naturalsociety.com. And Anthony, how you doing today?
Great. How about you?
I'm doing great. I was pretty grossed out by your video. So tell us about that. How long was that water sitting there? Was that like a year's worth of collection, or 6 months, or what was that?
Actually, believe it or not, it was just a little bit over a month, about 3 days over a month. And the recommended time you should change the filter is about 1 month. If you see in the video, there's a little warning label, and that actually says change monthly. So that's just 3 days over the rate you're supposed to change it. Imagine a year. It would be overflowing.
My God.
The reason I actually had to take it out is because it was overflowing. I was having a leak problem because of the just residue and filth clogging up the water flow. There's a little hole in the middle, and if the water can't get in, it'll overflow. So that's what caused me to take it out in the first place.
And so you pulled that out, you were disgusted by it, you made a 48-second video, shot it, threw it up on YouTube, and now it's got over 30,000 hits. And
exactly. Yeah, I wanted to do some type of special show on or something like that, just explain to people, but it was just so disgusting. I I didn't even want to toy with it anymore. I didn't want to bring it up to the studio or anything like that. I just had to go get the camera and do a quick little shot. I had no idea also that it would blow up. I just really wanted to show people what they are putting into their bodies. And to my knowledge, there's nothing really like that to such an extent to show people literally what they're drinking and what's going on in their body.
Right, and that's all diluted. That's stuff that actually gets taken out of the filtering process. We have it up on screen right now. So you can see you have this dark black residue, you have some white residue, you have some colored orange residue. I mean, you know, tell us what do you think is making up all of the stuff in that tray?
Well, what's interesting is we really don't have to guess too much. I mean, we know for a fact that it's fluoride in there, different heavy metals, mercury in many cases. Just in Philadelphia alone, which is where I'm located right now, there's 1 parts per million fluoride in the water. And then we have fecal matter, antibiotics. That's one main source of antibiotic-resistant bugs and everything like that. People are drinking the water and unknowingly getting dosed up with antibiotics. There's antidepressants, just a number of different things, a medley of things, urine. And it all comes together, and as some mentioned, it definitely causes bacterial growth. But that doesn't, let's say a large percentage of that is bacterial growth. Do you really want that to go into your body? Because it will happen. I mean, that's stuff that's encouraging just infection and disease right there.
Right, it's a host system of it, and that's what's going to grow in there. It was really disturbing to see that, and that was only 1 month, so just imagine what 6 months of that is, and imagine that's the stuff you're putting into your body when you don't filter it. So talk a little bit. You said you're also going to do another experiment. Talk a little bit about the experiments you want to do just to illustrate this to people.
Yeah, so basically to give you a rundown of what filter I'm using, it's supposed to be an atmospheric water generator. It actually takes water from the air and filters it through a 12-stage filtration process. And the water you get from the air is actually distinctly different than tap water. And part of the reason I went to tap water, besides low humidity rates around here at the time, is I wanted to do this experiment to see the difference. And in the past, I really had no idea it would get this bad. I had to, like I said, take it out, but I've never had to do that before. When you take it from the air, it's actually much cleaner. I'm going to do a video on the difference between the air, and I might actually put the camera in front of the Ecolo Blue, which is what I use, no financial affiliation, by the way, and put it in front of the camera literally for 30 days and just do like a 10-minute video that shows I did not alter it next to a clock, you know, to prove that I'm not messing around. It's not a lie. It's not a fluke. And take out the tray and notice the difference on each one.
Well, it's a shame that you would have to go to those lengths. I mean,
yeah.
You pulled your overflow tray out. That's the gunk you saw. You decided to make a video of it. And you also said you ran a few tests on that with some heavy metal strips. And what happened there with those tests?
Well, you can purchase any heavy metal strip for about $20 online. Global Healing Centers where I get it, our good friend Dr. Group. But I purchased these and I ran the tests, and it's just overwhelmingly positive. But to me, that's not really much of a surprise. I think it's pretty much well known that there's a massive amount of heavy metals in the water. But also just think about the fact that, I mean, the difference in what we're drinking is amazing. The tap water is so polluted to have to do that. And some people are telling me I mashed up meatballs and put it in there. It's just,
that's absurd.
It's a joke, yeah.
Come on. I mean, there is such a thing as integrity. Tell us about Natural Society. How long have you been running that site? Because we've been publishing your articles for a while now.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Just about a bit over a year. What was happening was I was writing for a number of different websites, including Infowars, and I still do. I submit stuff all the time. But what happened was I was writing for so many different sites, I decided to compile the information into one platform, and that's where Natural Society came about. It's essentially a platform for different writers and everyone to come together and talk about what works, what doesn't work, and the latest news, everything like that.
Well, that's good. That's the best way to get information around, is for humans as ourselves to be talking to one another, communicating, showing people what works and what doesn't work. We don't need the government babysitting for us. We can obviously see what government water gets us. You know, after a month, you get all this crud and nasty stuff. One thing I've done is I just recently got one of these bad boys. It's a ProPure system. There it is right there. I think I did get this size, the king size, with the filter elements up top, which have silver in them. Plus, you know, charcoal and all the other things. And then I got the fluoride reduction elements. I upgraded from my last system because the last system didn't come with those fluoride reduction elements. And
that's absolutely key.
You know, that is key. I mean, that is key. And it brings me to my next point, which is and this is one of your articles too, we published at the end of July. Majored Harvard study published in Federal Government Journal confirms Fluoride lowers IQ. I mean, what do these people at Harvard know that we don't know? Or I guess we already knew that, but...
Well, what we do know is there's been 28 previous studies to show that fluoride lowers IQ. Before this one, this is really just the icing on top of the evil cake, essentially. And they found that, quote, the children in high fluoride areas, which is really not that high, had significantly lower IQ than those who lived in low fluoride areas. Now, some people were telling me, though, oh, this only applies to third world nations because they have fluoride spikes and, you know, blah, blah, blah. But here's one. It says, even at low levels such as 1 part per million, which is the standard for United States drinking water, especially here in Philadelphia, they try and get the average to be 1 part per million. And it often goes up much higher. I've had reports of 7 parts per million, 12 parts per million, outrageous amounts. And it says as low as 1 part per million, these effects can be had. It lowers IQ. And then we have another scientist confirming this way back in 1977, which is what some of this research is based on. He says, fluoride led to accelerated tumor growth at a rate of 25%. He said it's actually caused about 10,000 deaths.
Yeah.
And furthermore, he said fluoride readily crosses the placenta. Fluoride exposure to the developing brain, which is much more susceptible to injury, may possibly lead to brain damage of permanent nature. So,
right, it says it right there. In 1977, Dr. Berg estimated that fluoride has actually caused about 10,000 deaths, according to his research. I mean, that is in the 70s, nearly 40 years ago. We're approaching 40 years on that study, and yet we're still fluoridating. We talk to people, talk to our mayor about it. He laughs. He goes, well, my dentist says it's okay.
Oh, no, there's dentists that say that will tell patients you're fluoride deficient. And that you need to go home and you need to just start taking fluoride pills.
Yeah.
The reasoning beyond that is absolutely absurd, of course, because it goes into your body and has nothing to do with your teeth.
At a concentrated rate, yeah, right. There's a study that came out and they said even topically, if they just put it topically on the teeth, the most benefit is 1/16 of one tooth surface or 1/8 of one tooth surface.
And then in the same research, though, it says it makes them brittle and break easily.
There you go.
So,
and yeah, exactly. So there really is no benefit. It is a disgusting poison. And it's amazing that we have to keep beating this bush beating this, I don't know, Trojan horse of putting fluoride. Yeah. I've been to the fluoride plants where they put it in to the system. And the MSDS sticker on the side of the giant tank that holds the fluoride that is so decrepit, it's rusting, it's gross. They have these do not enter signs on there. It's a 4, which is it's the highest of human reactivity. It causes death for prolonged exposure, can cause cancer, brain damage, and they don't care. They put it 9 gallons an hour into our water supply, and that's right out of the mouth of the water treatment supervisor there.
Yeah, everybody should go look up that video on Infowars about that.
We put that out a couple years ago. We're living
in the dark ages.
It really is, and this isn't, we know what the real answer is. It has to do with taking a toxic waste and filtering it through our public water supply. And it has nothing to do with our health. Even if that was the reason they were doing it, that's not the real reason. The real reason is to get rid of this toxic waste so they don't have to dispose of it properly.
And 28 studies now confirm that.
Exactly. And then on top of that, we have the Harvard study published that looked at those 28 studies. So another couple things that I just wanted to show everybody out there, and you might not even know about this, and we carry another product called the Life Straw. And you can get it overhead shot there. And this little puppy, you basically just put it, you open it up just like that, pull that out, and you stick one piece in, there's your filter, and you suck the water out just like that. And it'll filter it out. It's better than nothing if you're in an emergency situation.
Well, it's actually great. I mean, if you think about it as well, people are drinking well water. And if you go to findaspring.com, also you can see if there's a well in your area if you can't afford a filtration device, but maybe you can buy the Life Straw because, sure, you're getting well water and it might not have fluoride in it, but it's great to get out that bacteria and everything like that. So anything is better than nothing, honestly. I mean, if you could just get the Life Straw or, a ProPure system, it will benefit you immensely.
That's what I'm saying. Yeah, and it's better to be prepared and do it now because it leads to health problems down the line. I've got several members of my family, they actually went to the doctor and the doctor said, how much water do you drink? And they answered and they said, well, it sounds like you're getting too much fluoride. I've never, I don't even want to say what family member this is, but I got a call from them saying, hey, how did you know about fluoride? I said, well, I saw a WorldNet Daily article one day about fluoride in the water, and there's nothing to worry about. And basically what I did was research on this. I found so much information and put it in a really long article, went out, I think, in 2009. So I've been studying this since 2009 really heavily. I knew about it before, that fluoride wasn't good for you, but until I did the research and saw the numbers. And one of the things that freaked me out the most was that these books that were saying, you know, for community, we want between 1 to 2.3, I think, parts per million in the community water supplies. In the schools, we're looking for 4.5 to 6.5 parts per million. That's what they wanted to put in the water, and this is back in '92, not too long ago.
And the toothpaste and the fluoride pills, and they're talking about banning bottled water because people don't get enough fluoride. On Wikipedia, actually, we've done it. We've done our best to continue editing it. If you go to Wikipedia and you look up bottled water, there's previous entries that say that there's a major concern about bottled water, that kids aren't getting enough fluoride and they're fluoride deficient. So, I mean, if you thought Wikipedia had any real credibility from the community, that's just an answer right there.
It's corporate credibility is what they're looking for there. And kids are the worst. They respond to it worse than anybody else. It really hits the kids hard. I've got 2 kids, and they're drinking fluoride-free water right now. And before that, we were putting bottled water through the filter just to get the plastic out of it. So, you know, I'm doing what I can. Yeah. Everybody needs to do what they can out there. And I tell you what, this bad boy right there, that ProPure system, that is going to be the mainstay in my house. The other filter is going to be backup. And I like it because it's drip. It's not forcing the water through. Yeah. It just slowly drips through, and you can even hear it dripping. And, you know, that's pure water that's coming out of there. You can taste the difference. You put that up against tap water any day. I'd put it up against bottled water any day.
Yeah, I mean, do your own test too. It's definitely a system that I would highly recommend. And also, just because you don't see this gunk coming out of your filter doesn't mean it's not in there. I'm also going to do another video taking apart the filters. You take apart your filter, there's some disgusting stuff in there. I've had emails coming in, just tens and tens of emails per like 30 minutes, you know, hundreds a day of these people saying, I have distilled water and here's the bottom of my cup. And it's just, it looks even worse than mine, honestly. God. So it's not like this is an isolated case. This may be a high quality water filtration system, and I do have some custom stuff on it that can, you know, push stuff out of it, but it's also in your filters. It doesn't mean that it's not working if you don't see this. This is just an interesting experience in which we can actually look at what we're drinking.
Yeah, and guys, if you could back that up back to the MSDS and just hold it there for a second, people really need to see, and, you know, they're just showing the hidden camera footage. We were not allowed to videotape the fluoride plant there, but I just held the camera down to my side. Yeah, exactly. They don't want people to see the truth. There it is.
It's a public water supply area.
Oh, I know. Yeah, our tax money pays for it. But here we go. Life-threatening, major, or permanent damage may result from a single or repeated exposure. So there you go. That's what you're getting with fluoride, and that's in the concentrated form that they carry in tanker trucks across the United States, mainly from Florida, or they import it from China when they can't get enough here. And they put that in your water supply, and people just need to come to grips with reality and realize that it's a poison and that it needs to come out. I mean, that's it. There's really no more debate about the issue, and we shouldn't even have to be talking about this right now.
Oh, I mean, it's mostly from China as well. And look at just a few days ago, hundreds of different Chinese officials making the drugs for the United States went to jail because they just were putting garbage in it. And that's a huge issue now, that people taking drugs and other substances that are just fake or loaded with heavy metals or chlorine and stuff like that. It's just Google fluoride toxic and go to images. There's an image. It's on your site too, on Infowars. You can fluoride toxic Infowars. There's a bag. It says sodium fluoride with a big skull on it, and that's a real shot.
Yeah. No, it's poison. It was roach poison. It's also rat poison. You can use it to kill things with. That doesn't mean you should drink it. Definitely not.
As low as 1 parts per million as well.
Oh, it's so disgusting. One last little product here. Since we're talking about preparedness and you know, having the things we need to keep ourselves self-sufficient and healthy, here's an interesting little thing that I don't think anybody's seen on camera yet. It's called the pocket socket. And you turn this thing around, you can charge your cell phone, charge a computer. I guess if you had enough people turning it, you got to get 2 cranks per second, and you get 10 watts at 120 volts DC. And it's a pretty robust unit. It looks like you could turn this thing for hours and get the power.
I think that would go with the Life Straw. Both don't require any power, and in an emergency situation, that would be pretty useful. Also, iodine, if possible, can really help fluoride. toxicity and poisoning, nascent iodine or anything like that will really help you out for sure.
And that's the thing, that's the kind of information that is useful, and that's the kind of information you put out, it's the kind of information we try to put out. In addition to all the political stuff, we do have a strong concern for the healthy body, maintaining that out there, because that's the key. If you're not healthy in your body and you're not healthy in your mind, you'll fall for anything. You'll be one of the slaves. You will gladly sit in front of the TV and waste your life away. And, you know, you're just not going to be part of the revolution, because we're the revolution of ideas and of practices that are going to get us out of this dark age, because eventually fluoridation is going to stop. It's not too far down the line. They could keep putting stuff out there. I saw another, you know, bashing people who were against fluoridation article, and it just makes me sick. These people are in such denial. But it's ending. It's going to end very soon, I think. I think we got 5 years, and it'll be gone out of the United States.
Believe it or not, there is actually information confirming what you just said. If your bacteria routine is messed up in your stomach, if you have too much bad bacteria, it'll cause mental illness. That's actually peer-reviewed research from PubMed, that if you're sitting there eating garbage all day or drinking acidic water with bad bacteria and heavy metals, your gut balance is going to get so messed up that mental illness will occur. It'll lower your IQ. It'll make you literally go insane. It makes you, that's what they're saying now, schizophrenia is linked to all this. And if you get good bacteria in the gut through probiotics, everything like that, it'll assist you massively. And then, you know, you say that, and you talk about they're giving you propaganda against anti-fluoride people. Watch TV. Every single show, specifically cop shows, there's always some kooky guy, and you know, he has all these crazy ideas. And the one I was just watching, he was saying something like fluoride is bad, and you know, we should start eating healthy vegan. They were like, ha, look at this idiot, you know, as
they're drinking tap water, you know.
Yeah, of course.
These people are so crazy. Most of those actors, they don't believe the BS they're spewing. No. They actually know, because they have the money to pay for this stuff. So they're drinking pure water from halfway around the earth, you know. And
yeah, none of them drink tap water.
No,
even the horribly overweight and unhealthy ones.
Yeah,
it's considered like a low class status. It's the dirtiest water you can possibly have.
Yeah, and the fluoride, the water that they peddle to kids. Oh, now with more fluoride. Oh man, it's just so disgusting.
Don't buy Nestle brand water bottles.
No, exactly.
A lot of them are loaded up with fluoride, and they say, and it's in the commercial, like, now with extra fluoride.
Yeah, and for your poison, extra poison to keep you stupid. Anthony, I appreciate you coming on short notice. I love the video. I caught it yesterday. I took a weekend trip, and when I got back into town, I saw that video. It was the first thing I watched, and I'm like, man, that is pure disgusting. And thanks for putting it out there, because people really do need to see what the heck is in their water, you know, because then they'll make those changes. It's those types of things that are going to make people go, wait a minute.
Yeah,
you know,
I really hope it disgusts people, honestly, because it'll make them change their mind. You know, if they see some video of me talking for 45 minutes, a lot of people don't care.
Right.
They see that, though.
Yeah,
that's going to change their mind.
It's a minute. It's a little information nugget, and we need more of those out there. What's coming up with Natural Society? What are you guys working on this week?
Well, if you see behind me, this is short notice, as you mentioned, but I'm actually building a full-fledged studio, and we're going to do a lot more reports on water and everything like that, and show you a lot of visuals, very short videos. Yeah, something I'm really interested in, have been covering, actually broke the story on August 1st, is the 2045 program, which is essentially a program launched by a Russian scientist to give the wealthy elite, really only people who back him with millions and millions of dollars, artificial bodies by 2015. And then ultimately they want to have some type of a singularity project in which everyone has artificial brains and artificial bodies by 2045. Of course, it's only the wealthy elite who have this. And he's saying that they'll be, quote unquote, immortal. And it sounds insane, but it's actually getting a lot of backing and a lot of media and financial help. So it's definitely something to watch, and it's something extremely concerning, because it threatens our humanity as an entire species. So
definitely, when you have elites that can live forever, then they don't have to reteach their tricks to their younglings. And oh God!
And get this, guess what controls the body? An RFID chip.
Oh. How nice. So then they can track you wherever you want to go, and I guess just cut it off if you don't play by the rules at that point.
Well, it essentially links to a supercomputer, and then your quote unquote artificial brain. All this sounds crazy, by the way, but just look it up. I mean, it's on NBC. This RFID chip will link to the supercomputer, which will then give signals to your artificial brain to control your artificial body. So you're not even a human anymore. You're essentially controlled by this system that just controls you as a whole.
That is ultra creepy. Well, thanks for coming on today. Appreciate it. Looking forward to your new videos on what comes out of your water filter, and everybody should be shooting that all over the country and putting it out there to educate more people.
Thanks a lot for having me. Appreciate
all right. Well, and that's our show for today. I just want to give you a quick recap. Here is our ProPure King model that we do sell at Infowars.com. We have several different models. This happens to be the brushed stainless steel. Almost said aluminum. It's not aluminum. It's stainless steel. It's got a little glass reservoir. You can tell how much water's in there. I got the fluoride filters and the regular filters with mine. That's the main one in our house. The pocket socket. Very cool little item. For, you need to charge your iPod, you're out in the middle of nowhere, well, there you go. 5 minutes later, your iPod's charged. But also build up that right arm strength. And the Life Straw for those times when you really need a drink of water and you don't have filtered water anywhere. Say you're in the middle of a stream or a pond. Read the manual. It's not very big. Check it out. You can keep that in a backpack in your bug out bag. Very cool products. Because what it's all about is getting prepared, because as we talked about earlier, the banks they're making plans for a collapse, and when the banks collapse again, it's going to be hard times for a while. So we're all going to have to band together. We're going to have to communicate with each other, set up those modes of communication to keep the information flowing, because that's what it's all about. So thanks to Anthony Gucciardi of Natural Society. Thanks to the crew out there working really hard. They gave me a 3-day weekend. I got to leave on Thursday night and get out of town. Had a real good time with my family. And do that with your family out there. Go out and spend some time with your family. And don't sit around watch YouTube videos all day. Or definitely don't watch mainstream media all day, because you will get brainwashed. That's our show. Remember to get that Prison Planet TV membership if you are watching this on YouTube right now. Just type in prisonplanet.tv. We have a 15-day free trial. It's about $5.95 a month. It supports everything we do here, and we surely do appreciate it. And with that, I'm Rob Dew, signing off. Till next time.
Society's Anthony Gucciardi joins us to reveal the true condition of our polluted water supply. But wait, there is a remedy. That's coming up next on the Infowars Nightly News.
All right, we got quite a show for you. Let's kick it off with the D.H.S. Now they're buying, looks like, over 1 billion bullets. Here's the headline from Infowars. D.H.S. to purchase another 750 million rounds of ammo. Second ammunition buy this year fuels massive civil unrest. Fears that federal authorities are preparing for mass civil unrest have increased after it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy 750 rounds of ammo in addition to the 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets already purchased earlier this year. Wow, isn't that great? With the total ammo purchase, there's a PDF file we're going to show you in a second. It's got the total ammo purchase exceeding 750 million rounds. That is 4 bullets for every man, woman, and child in the United States. And there it is. There's our 4 bullets. And they're hollow point, of course, because, you use hollow point when you really care to send that message to that special someone out there. This is really disturbing. There's speculation of 2 different reasons of why they're buying this. One, they're either going to use it on us, or 2, they're buying it up so we can't use it to protect ourselves in the event of a major collapse. Because nobody's going to go out there and go to war with D.H.S. But we do have the right to defend ourselves. Good evening, and welcome to the Infowars Nightly News. I'm your host, Rob Dew, and today's date is Monday, August 13th, 2012, and here's a look at what we have coming up.
Tonight, the stability of U.S. banks and the safety of individual deposit accounts in grave danger, as former money manager Ann Barnhart says the marketplace is destroyed, and it's time to get your money out. Meanwhile, something strange appears to be happening all over the globe, as government and big banks are acting as if they are anticipating an imminent financial collapse. Plus, fears that federal authorities are preparing for mass civil unrest have increased after it was revealed that the Department of Homeland Security is planning to buy 750 million rounds of ammo. This in addition to the 450 million rounds of hollow point bullets already purchased earlier this year. Then, this is what your tap water looks like. Natural Society.
This comes from a recent appeals court ruling surrounding customer funds lost during a 2007 collapse of Chicago futures broker Sentinel. Indicates that individuals who lose deposited funds because a financial institution improperly manages that money, even if those funds are supposed to be segregated, which means they're not supposed to be invested by the company, from other operations of the firm, they're simply left with no recourse if the firm goes belly up. And that was according to the court. Here it is. A miscalculation of customer funds is not on its own sufficient to rule as a matter of law that Sentinel acted without intent to hinder, delay, or defraud its customers. So basically what they're doing is legalizing the theft of your money, and even if it's in a segregated account, they get to use it however they want, they get to squander it, they get to bet with it, and if they lose it, it ain't no problem. And that's why Ann Barnhart left the industry, putting out that call to her investors and giving them their money back. And Mark Slavo ends with this. Guys, it's over. I know many of you are still cowering in normalcy bias, unable to deal with reality, unable to face the world as it is, but you've got to snap out of it. The marketplace is destroyed. You cannot be in these markets. All legal protections are now officially gone. And that's it. I mean, that's why D.H.S. is buying all these bullets, because when people realize that the system is fake and that it has collapsed, there's going to be a lot of riots. There's going to be, that's why they're buying all that riot gear. The Army is even buying it now. They're getting ready for everything to implode, for people to be out in the streets demanding answers. And when the riots start, people are going to be asking for the Army. We've already seen signs in Detroit of people spray painting on the walls, where's the 20,000 troops in Detroit? People are going to be calling us, and we do have the right to defend ourselves from an unjust government. And that 750 million rounds points to there's the PDF we have over on the screen right there. You could see, and that's linked in the article. You could see all the different versions of that. Before that, on March 28th, Business Insider reported the Department of Homeland Security is buying 450 million new bullets. And these are, let's see, what does it say here? The 223s caliber and exactly the same round used by NATO forces, the 5.56 by 45 millimeter. So there's that article there. And the USDA is buying ammo. Everybody's making million-round purchases of ammo. It's just not passe to get 100,000 bullets for target practice. Now we got to buy millions of rounds. And why is that going to happen? Well, it leads us to our next article. Are the government and big banks quietly preparing for an imminent financial collapse? Okay. And this is well, it's sourced from Reuters. Something really strange appears to be happening all over the globe. Governments and big banks are acting as if they are anticipating an imminent financial collapse, and that's from That's from the Economic Collapse blog. There it is right there. And they source Reuters. U.S. regulators directed 5 of the country's biggest banks, including Bank of America Corp., Goldman Sachs, to develop plans to stave off of collapse if they fear serious problems, emphasizing the banks could not count on government help like they did last time. The 2-year-old program, which has largely been secret until now, is in addition to the living wills, which we reported a few weeks ago, the banks have crafted to help regulators dismantle them if they actually do fail. It shows how regulators are working to ensure that banks have plans for the worst-case scenarios and can act rationally in times of distress. Does this seem odd to anyone else that only the big banks get a warning? That seems odd to me. And why keep it secret from the American public? This is stuff that has to be fished out of little white papers and put on the web, and it's not mainstream media reporting on it. This is Economic Collapse blog, and it goes on to cite further instances. And there's an interesting little quiet please, which we have loose talk can cost lives, because that's what's going to happen. People are starting to talk. We've got IRS whistleblowers that we've had on the show. We're talking about how the whole system is basically fraudulent and it's set up to fail. But the big guys up top are not going to they're not going to have any problems. They've already built their redoubts. They've got their food. It's just going to be bad. So the SHTF plan has, and we posted this today, warning, get your money out. All legal bank deposit protections are officially gone. And this goes back to 2011 when there is former money manager Ann Barnhart. She ceased operating her brokerage firm and returned funds to her customers, citing systemic problems within the entire financial industry. And she issued a new warning about the stability of banks and the safety of individual deposits. Well, what happened last year, 2011? Remember, that's when Gerald Celente was getting on, talking about Corzine stealing his money. And, well, that's what happened. This goes back even before Celente.